So we played a bit of karting. It seemed very fun.
Yes.
So what was the inspiration? Obviously, there's quite a few karting games out there. What was the main inspiration behind this?
Being able to put the sky in the mix. I think these are two different worlds. We've got LittleBigPlanet, craft world, this crazy, amazing place, awesome characters, fun, and karting as a genre, which is something that we grew up with. We know and love. It's traditional, classic, addictive multiplayer, and given the opportunity to merge these two together, it's just so cool. We're so proud.
And in terms of it's going to come out in November
November the 9th.
Yeah. And there's already the main established karting is basically Mario Kart. So what do you think sort of fits in relation to that?
Well, there are traditional types of karting, traditional karting gameplay, that we obviously wanted to work with and focus on, because you would be very remiss to take those things out and try and innovate on something brand new. So, we grew up with those things as developers, and not only through playing games when we were younger, but also because we worked on Live Nation races. So we have a lot of experience with karting, and this was a chance to just open up some new ways of doing it, new things you can bring into the mix, and all of the customization that you get with LittleBigPlanet, and throwing that into karting and just really kind of innovating on what happens.
You mentioned Live Nation races. I think that experience with that sort of transition across well into LittleBigPlanet Karting.
Completely, yeah. That was the first game to really customize tracks and arenas and things in karting. We took everything that we learned from that and we've only just added to it. So absolutely.
And you saw you showed off the creation stuff. It seems like it was quite deep.
Oh, it goes so deep that we can't see the end. Yeah.
You showed off the first person level. I mean, how does someone sort of go about sort of creating something like that with the tools on offer?
Well, it's a combination of these powerful tools, like you mentioned. The first thing you do is when you go into the editor of LittleBigPlanet Karting, is you can create a track or you can create an arena. So in this case, someone's just created an arena. Start with a big blank canvas, and then using a combination of these tools, create your own object. In this case, they created a hand gun using the geopaint and the materials, and then giving it sort of using the custom kart physics to play around with how a hand moves around in space, how it feels, and then using the controlinator gadget to sort of give it some different abilities and map the controls differently. And then you move around and put the camera slightly behind it, and it's all yours to control. The next step there would be adding custom weapons using the weaponator gadget. So something that either looks, you could make it look like a bullet, or you could make it look like rainbows coming out the end of the gun.
So yeah, again, very powerful tools there. I mean, you could. What's the best sort of level of creation you've seen so far?
I think there's been a whole host of different ones. That was something cool in terms of we can create first-person shooters in our game. There are other things that are like the little mini games, the arcade games, that are nothing like karting. They're not karting, just using some tools. But then, what people are creating when they make tracks, like really cool circuit racing tracks, and really surprising things up a little bit, using things like what we've done in our story level, where we have very unique things from LittleBigPlanet 2, like the grapple. Having that used in a certain way through a level to traverse across a bit of dangerous terrain or something like that. It's some of those traditional circuit races that we saw in the public beta were just so brilliantly polished and looked amazing.
So in the demo we sort of played there's sort of three normal race. There's like I think it's a dragon battle going on as well. What other different types of modes or game types are there in the story?
Okay, so they're not sort of specific modes that you create, because we give you the option of making whatever you want, but you can play around with the logic of things. So what triggers a game ender, whether you win or finish the level, could be time or score based on traditional things, or it could be just goal orientated, like take this object and drive it over to that thing, or collect all of these things, or do this, or so anything can trigger a level. And so we have examples of team co-op play, you know, trying to score points for your team, doing whatever objective. Things like you probably saw the monster guy. Yeah. So this is like a little dinosaur, and it's a top-down view this time because you can't move the cameras, and you've got a little cityscape and little roads, and your dinosaur is like going through and smashing trucks, like a little mini Godzilla. So you know, these are kinds of examples of things that are just non-traditional.
And the PS3 games and also the PSP games as well. They had loads of sort of links into like other films, other games, also Marvel characters, and Final Fantasy. Do you think that sort of might transition across over to karting as well? Maybe some sort of time with maybe it's like Need for Speed or something like that.
Oh, that would be neat. Yeah. There's all sorts of things that are available to us. You know, in the meanwhile, what we do have is we do support the prior costumes and DLC that you've bought for LittleBigPlanet 1 and 2. So you can be one of the Marvel heroes on the track if you've bought that pack. Or you know, my personal favorite is of course Ariel, the Little Mermaid from the Disney Princess pack. When I found out that we could use the costumes, I was so excited. Yeah. That one and Noriko from Heavenly Sword, my other favorite.
So maybe like you might have like a DC pack. And you get the Batmobile and then become a big Batman for myself.
Yeah, I mean, these sorts of things are all possible in the future. Yeah, there's no concrete plans yet, but the world's our oyster, really. And what's gonna help us know where to go next is the feedback that we get from the community and people who play the game and what they think, and they'll give us suggestions, and we'll be inspired even further, I think.